Good morning, dear kids. Welcome back in Social Studies class. In previous chapter, we read about the story of early humans, how they learned to use tools and how the discovery of fire changed their life. Now, in this chapter, humans learn new things. We will learn how their life became easier when they begin to grow their own food. Beginning of farming, invention of wheel, and early settlements. Okay, chapter 20, humans learn new things. Early humans had to keep moving from place to place in search of food. This made their life difficult. Life became easier for them once they began to grow their own food. Now, growing food. Early humans found that they could eat the seeds of some plants. They began to gather means collect these seeds for food. They noticed that new plants grew from seeds that fell on the ground. They started sowing seeds to grow plants for food. Humans thus changed from hunter-gatherers to farmers. Okay? Did you understand this? That early humans were food gatherers for a long time. They gathered fruits and roots of plants to eat. They did not know how to grow plants for food. So he lived on plants and grains that grew naturally. But he saw that some grains and seeds left on the ground sprouted after some time. This gave early human the idea of farming. He started sowing seeds in the ground. He also saw that plants grew faster in the rainy season. So he started living near the banks of rivers and watered the seeds that he sowed. This is how they learned to produce crops and became food producers from food gatherers. Now, keeping animals. Humans learned to domesticate animals. This means they tamed animals to keep them as pets or for work, food, wool, etc. Dogs, sheep, goats, cows, donkeys and camels were some animals they kept. Class, the early man tamed some animals for his use. He domesticated cows, sheep, goats, horses, donkeys, camels and some other animals. He used them for riding and for carrying his goods. Slowly he started using them in farming also. Okay, now some animals gave milk, for example, goats and cows. Some gave wool, for example, goats and sheep. Goats and sheep also gave meat. The skins of the animals were used for clothing and to cover herds. Some animals carried loads and did farm work. For example, oxen, camels and donkeys. Did you know the dog was the first animal to be domesticated? Okay. New tools and weapons. Humans needed new tools to help in farming. They made the plow for digging a line in the soil for seeds, and they made the sickle for cutting crops. They also made better weapons for hunting and fishing. Pottery. Pots, dishes, bowls and so on made of clay are called pottery. The earliest pots were shaped by hand. They were dried in the sun. Later, people learned to bake pots in fire to make them harder and stronger. Pots were used for storing things like food, water and milk. They were also used for cooking. Class, agriculture and domestication of animals brought about great change in the life of early human. He chose to live near river valleys because water was available and soil was fertile to grow crops. He made tent-like huts to live. He learned to make clay pots by hand. He also learned to make baskets from bamboo. He kept grains in the pots and baskets. He caught fish from the river to eat. He enjoyed a settled life now. Okay, now the wheel. Humans saw that things like logs and round stones rolled easily. So they started moving heavy loads by placing them on logs. They also moved things on sledges. They found that it was easier to move a sledge placed on logs. By shortening these logs, humans made wooden wheels. Later, they learned to fix the wheels to the sledge. Learning to make the wheel was very important for humans. They made carts with wheels to carry loads. Then they learned to make animals pull the carts. People could now travel more easily on these carts. The wheel had other uses too. The early potters found that it was easier to shape clay into pottery on a turning wheel. He used the potter's wheel even today. Okay, early humans walked from place to place. One day they saw a log rolling down a hill and found that it reached the ground in no time. It gave them the idea of creating a round-shaped object that could move smoothly on the ground and allow them to travel and carry goods in less time. After many attempts, they finally succeeded in inventing the wheel. Later, they tied a wheel to the sledges, then to a cart pulled by animals. The wheel was also used to make pots, which came to be known as potter's wheel. Now, the first villages. When people started farming, they no longer needed to move from place to place in search of food. They started staying near their farmlands. Usually these were near rivers. The land near rivers is good for farming and there is water for people and their crops and animals. Okay class, early humans realized that the land near rivers is suitable for growing crops. Thus, they began staying in small groups near the rivers. Staying near rivers also fulfilled their daily needs of cleaning, washing and drinking. Okay. Now, people built simple houses. A number of families started living near each other in these houses. Together, these houses formed a village. The people of the village grew crops, looked after their animals and made their own tools and pottery. Now, the first cities. As time passed, people became better at growing food. Now, each village had enough food to feed a large number of people. So, more people started living in the same village. The villages grew bigger and some of them became cities. So, this is your chapter. Please read the chapter and fill the bookwork. I will send it in the evening. Okay. Thank you.